Hi everyone, welcome back to another drawing workshop. Playing a little bit of catch up here, but as a reminder, last time we were together, we started kind of a figure drawing with the central core of a human figure, all arranged along this kind of line of action here. So today we're going to add some limbs. So I'll show you how they connect to a figure and then sort of the shapes used to build a limb over here. So remember, and just as we were doing with the core, everything kind of breaks down into these really simple shapes here. So we have, a circle for the head, square for the rib cage, little trapezoid for the pelvis there, and they're kind of connected by more flexible parts of the figure, which are like the neck and the abdomen, the stomach area here. Abdomen, that's the word. Okay, same kind of goes for the arms and legs, though the points that we're going to be drawing in first are going to be the joints. So to sketch out a limb, it's easy to start with a little kind of stick figure type of limb, and we're going to start with the shoulder. So the shoulder is a circle that's inset onto the rib cage here, because the rib cage is actually built sort of like a little egg, so it's round at the top, so your shoulder is actually going to be in here. If you put it out here on the edge, it's going to look weird. It's not going to look connected. So shoulders are going to be like that. And the shoulder muscles actually kind of fold over the top of the shoulder. So what they really create is like this little sort of heart shape right up here. That's just good to remember. You don't really have to know that for what I'm showing you today, but muscles fold over and they do connect to the chest muscles like so. Okay, the next thing I like to do is sort of decide where the hands are going to be. You don't want to put them too far out from your figure. They usually only reach down just past your pelvis, kind of mid-thigh area here. So if you're going to have a hand that's relaxed, put it around there, and we'll put the other one on their waist there. Okay. So the upper arm and lower arm are pretty equally sized. So to connect, we'll draw two lines that are an equal distance apart. About like that. And in the middle is your elbow. So we're going to do another little circle for that. Same thing for a bent arm. You're going to draw a kind of equilateral triangle there, and your elbow's right there. So these are all just guidelines, and then actually putting on muscle and anatomy to these will be, I'll show you that over here. Okay, so for legs, I'm kind of going to do the same thing. The joints will come straight out from the sides of the pelvis here. And then depending on how your figure is standing, you kind of want to know what leg the weight is going on, and that leg is going to kind of follow the curve here. So it'll actually curve in to be at the center of your character's balance. That's probably going to be too short, so let's measure heads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so it should be around 7 heads, BT dubs. Generally, unless you're doing kids or shorter people or taller people or whatever, but average person, I guess, is about 7. Okay. So again, halfway down this line is going to be your knee, and then at the bottom, I'm putting a little triangle for the foot. Same thing goes here. You can draw two equal lines that match up here with a, get out of your phone, with the triangle at the bottom, and then in the middle there is going to be the knee. So the knees don't really match up because this leg is much more relaxed because the weight isn't on it. They can do whatever they want with that leg. They can pick it up, whatever. So the knees usually aren't going to match up. The hips generally will be on one line, feet one line. Knees can be a little tricky. So, okay. So there is sort of your stick figure arms and legs. Okay, so now I'll kind of show you the adding meat to an arm Okay, so we're going to do sort of that oblong heart shape for the shoulder. This is where it connects to the rib cage. Say you have your elbow here, and let's do a hand there. Boop, boop. Okay. So on your arm, I was just going to put my arm in the shot. That's no, too big. The widest points are going to be your joints. So the shoulder, and then it's going to widen up a bit to the elbow. The reason I'm not putting a bulky line in here for the bicep is because the bicep is actually facing us right here. And the bicep is not completely round, it's sort of like flat, so it'll bulge in this direction, but it's not showing too much in that direction, unless you have like a really muscular person. And then you'll have a little bit more definition there. But for today, we're just drawing normal arms. Okay. So you have kind of this tube shape between the two joints here. You hit the elbow, and now from the elbow to the wrist is kind of a tapering tube. So about like that. So round at the top and then tapers down a little bit here to where the wrist is going to be. And today, hands and feet are just going to be blobs because they deserve their own video. So it's a mitten. So pretty easy. So all you're using really is a circle, a couple tapered cylinders, there's the word, and then this kind of tube shape there. And then if you want to add definition, like I said, the shoulder muscle does wrap around there. And in the back here, you might have a hint of a tricep. And if you have a hint of a bicep, it's going to be there. So the tricep at the back of your arm, bicep at the front of your arm are kind of asymmetrical like that. So make sure you don't have just sort of this rounded shape like that. It's not going to look natural. So if you're adding definition, high hump on the outside, low hump on the inside. And then for the forearm, like I said, sometimes I'll go in the middle here to where the arm is twisting, and I'm adding the hand. You'll kind of have this line that intercepts because the bones in your forearm twist. So that is a more detailed arm. That's a more simple arm, more detailed arm. So just kind of look at the shapes that it contains and kind of work around those. Okay, so for legs, I guess I'll do that over here, even though I'm getting all smudgy. Okay. So legs are, they can be very different depending on who you're drawing. So if you're drawing someone with a lot of muscle, you're going to have a lot more bulk in certain places. It might be a little bit more angular. This person's going to have one really buff leg and one normal leg. Okay, and so the leg muscles kind of same thing with the arm muscles, a little bit asymmetrical here. You'll get this deposit here, which is like muscle but also fat on the inside of the thigh. And then it connects up to the kneecap, which today we're going to draw as a little triangle, diamond shape. And then the calf muscle we're going to just represent with an oval right now. Right? Make sure I'm still in the shot, and I am. And then the shin, the lower leg, is just going to be kind of that tube, sort of a tapering tube, until it hits the little triangle that is the foot. Right? So this one will be a little bulkier up here, taper down, so it's essentially oval, tapering triangle, diamond, oval, tapering triangle. Isn't that nice? And then you kind of connect it up like so with the foot. Okay, so a more general leg, a little bit easier to do here, is you just go in with your tapering triangle, and then you have a smaller, like longer oval, and it's going to be really flat on the front of a leg, so the shin bone there is not going to have a lot of curve to it. So you have your kneecap right there. You have your oval, and then you have your cylinder there, and that connects up to your foot. Voila. So then this way you don't really have to worry about like having a whole lot of bulk up there. If it's just kind of an average person's leg, you're not going to have the muscle definition here. If you're curious, the muscle along the inside of the leg sort of does this weird swoopy thing. So that's really what you're seeing here, but yeah, it kind of joins up there and then joins up behind the kneecap. So it doesn't start here. You kind of have a lot of interconnecting, interwoven muscles on the leg. So that's why it looks the way it does. And you might have a slight curve on the outside. So there you go. Okay, so with a series of tapering triangles, cylinders, and ovals, limbs are usually pretty easy. They do take some practice, especially if you're going to try to draw them in perspective. I'll kind of show you briefly that. So if you have someone who's kind of reaching towards the camera, as it were, you'll have the shoulder. And then everything else is going to be really shortened. So this cylinder here is only going to be about this long, and then you overlap it with that other tapering cylinder there. Geez, I'm having trouble remembering the word cylinder today. And then you have the hand. So nothing tapers down quite so much because it's coming towards you. And then all of your lines are going to overlap, right? Like that. So it's going to look shorter, but it's going to also look like it's coming towards you. Same thing for something that's recessing into the background. You'll just overlap in the opposite direction. And then things will taper down and get smaller. So here's it, sorry, explain what I'm doing. Here's the rib cage, here's the shoulder overlaps that, the upper arm there, and then the upper arm overlaps the lower arm, and then there's a little hand back here, and sometimes just to accentuate the point, sorry, my dog is getting a drink, accentuate the point, I'll add some shading there to look like it's really headed into the background. So, we've made a very messy page, but hopefully this has helped you kind of grasp the shapes involved in limbs and how they connect to your core that we learned how to do last time. Yeah, so hopefully you learned something new. Hopefully you got a new method to practice out of this. If you did, if you like this video, just be sure you subscribe to the Westland Public Library's YouTube channel and click that bell for updates. See ya!